Hi, Luke from Korg here. I'm here at Absolute Music and today we are checking out the new Volca. It's the Nubass. So let's go and have a listen. So this is the newest Volca in the range and I think we're up to 10 Volcas now, which is quite amazing. So we're getting to quite a high level of Volca usage in our range. So what this is it's a bass analog synth, but it's slightly different from say the Volca bass, which we've seen before. Mainly because we've got YouTube built in. So what YouTube does is it allows us to use this amazing YouTube technology in a different way in a Volca. So you've probably seen this from YouTube technology before in things like the Vox Continental reissue we did, and also some Vox products like the Vox MV50 and the some of the amps they do. But what we're doing here is we're using it as an oscillator. So we're not using it in line for like drive or to warm up the sound. We're actually using it as an oscillator, and we can use it as a sub oscillator as well. So what that means is we get a really nice warm sounding analog sound. So, and I can have my sound here, play it on the chromatic keyboard just like the other Volcas, and I can also dial in a sub oscillator as well. And change the saturation. You've also got a pitch control so you can tune it. Handily tells you on the display when you're back to zero, which is really useful obviously when you're tuning to other stuff. So as we work our way along from left to right here, we've got a filter control. So cut off and peak. So you get that real growl if you want it. And then of course we've got an envelope, so we can change the attack and also the decay. And here we've got the envelope intensity being sent to that filter. So turn that up and turn the attack up a little bit. You can hear that attack transient changing as that's being sent to the filter. Then over here we've got a drive and a tone. So as you can hear, the amount of drive we've got, and we can also shape the tone as well. So we can bring in higher frequencies or roll those off a little bit. But of course it really comes into its own once you start using the sequencer that's built in. So you've got a 16-step sequencer, and that's represented on this keyboard as well. So if I press play now, you can hear one of the presets that's built in, and you can select those via the memory buttons here. So you can see that's number one. I've got a load number. Sorry, that was number two. This is number one. And you can also chain them together, as you can see I've done there. So if I hit more than one at once, I can chain multiple patterns together. So back to number two. Now you'll see I've got a trio of Volcas here. I've got my Volca Beats, which is my drum machine, and I've also got a Volca Mix. So these two are going through the Volca Mix out to the audio source, and I've got them synced together. So what that means is that the Volca Beats is first in the chain with the sync cable, and it's going into the Nubass. So that basically means that this will sync together. So if I play a drum pattern here, and then start the Nubass, they'll be in time. Which is pretty cool and just really practical thing when you're making your music. Very easy to make your own pattern as well. So to do that, same as on all Volcas, function clear, and now I've got a blank canvas. So it's just running there, but obviously there's nothing in it. Start off my Volca Beats, and I can hit record, and just start recording. So that's one way to record, but you can also record step time as well. So the way you do that, let's clear it again, clear it all. Function, step record. So I'm just pressing function and record there, and you can see now we're in step record mode, and it's waiting for me to tell it what note to play on step 1. So I'm going to say, we're going to have that note, step 2, step 3, step 4. I can also miss out steps just by pressing record, so I can have gaps. So this technique's brilliant for making randomized patterns, basically. You can also add slides, so just press slides there and you can see I can just draw in some slides there. As well as accents. And then I can adjust the amount of accent here. I can also introduce motion recording. So that's basically like automation. I can perform motion into the pattern and it will record. So I need to turn that on if I want to do that. Motion on off, and then I'll do a little bit of recording. So you're getting that little filter down there. And that's called motion recording. You can turn that on and off, so you can A/B it with and without that recording, or you can just clear it if you screw it up. So it's really usable. So once you come up with something that you really love, you can write it. So you just go function, memory, and then you can write it or save it into any of these 16 memory locations. Brilliant for when you're performing with it as well. So you can have a load there ready to go. And like I said earlier, you can chain them as well, which is really useful. Okay, so that was the Volca Nubass. Hope you enjoyed. If you want to see any more information about this, check the Korg website, of course the Absolute website as well for more details.